Focused and fearless. Here's everything you need to know this rush hour of October 15, Tuesday. I'm Riza Diaz. We start today's rush with a surprising turn of events over at the PNP with its chief Oscar Albayalde relinquishing his post. And with that, Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa wasted no time and took the reins of the National Police. Jen Kalimon with this report.
My last command, assured Chief PNP, is for you to carry on in the service of our fellow Filipinos so that all of us may live and work in peace. Do not let these challenges demoralize or stray you from your path.
This was the last command of PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde to his men after announcing that he is relinquishing his post as the head of the 200,000-strong Philippine National Police. Albayalde is supposed to retire on November 8, but because of the Ninja Cops controversy, he has decided to step down. He is now on non-duty status.
Over the weekend, I had the opportunity to talk to the SILG Secretary Eduardo Año about the events that have transpired in recent days. After careful thought and deliberation, I have come to the decision to relinquish my post as Chief PNP effective today and go on non-duty status.
General Albayalde was accused of intervening in the dismissal of 13 rogue cops involved in the controversial drug raid in Pampanga in November 2013. Albayalde denied all the accusations.
On the matter of the Senate investigation in regard which I have been implicated, let me recall the following. The incident happened on November 29, 2013.
PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Bernard Banach said the PNP chief may have felt pressured amid all the charges thrown against him.
Labis na naapektuhan ang kanyang personal na buhay, maging ang kanyang pamilya. So, maring ito rin ay isa sa mga nagbigay or naging dahilan para talagang mag-decide na siya na bumitiw na sa pwesto.
Albayalde will retain his 4-star general status until a successor replaces him. He will also get his full retirement benefits. Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa, the Chief of Administration, is now PNP OIC. Gamboa is one of the 3 candidates favored to replace Albayalde. The others are Lieutenant General Camilo Cascolan, the Deputy Chief for Operation, and Major General Guillermo Eleazar, who was recently promoted as the Chief of Directorial Staff. Reporting for News 5, Jen Kalimon. We are One News.
Authorities are eyeing toll discounts at the South Luzon Expressway despite some motorists claiming that traffic in the highway is already getting better. Jared De La Peña with the story.
Motorists at the South Luzon Expressway were greeted with heavy traffic. The stretch of Susana Heights up to Alabang was pretty much at a standstill as one lane was closed to give way to the construction of the Skyway extension. But some motorists say the traffic is not as bad as before.
1 hour lang, sir. Dati, mga 2 hour eh.
So lumuluwag na?
O, lumuluwag ngayon. Gawa ng iniban nila yung ano dito sa Alabang. Yung exit dito, inano sa service road.
The Toll Regulatory Board referred to this as the bad normal, where buildup can go as long as 8 to 10 kilometers. The agency is now looking to give toll fee discounts in exchange for the inconvenience motorists face.
Ang philosophy being that motorists pay for the use of the toll road. It should be convenience first, second, safety. Now, how can you agree that they had convenience when they are stuck in traffic for 3 or 4 hours?
The board says it is also considering penalizing the toll road operator.
Something should be done to somehow give relief sa mga motorists. And one would be, we start giving penalties for those who violate standards.
San Miguel Corporation, the operator of SLEX and Skyway, has not yet responded to the issue. Laguna 3rd District Representative Sol Aragones also filed a resolution urging SLEX operator to either waive or suspend toll fee collection for 6 months.
6 months muna, at kapag naging maayos naman sa loob ng 6 months, pwede naman natin itong i-lift. Pwedeng mas maaga, basta't ang nais lang po natin ito ay magkaroon ng mga measures o dagdag na pamamaraan para maibsan yung traffic na dinadanas ng mga kababayan natin na dumadaan sa SLEX.
For News 5, Gerard De La Peña, we are One News.
All eyes are set on Padre Faura as top magistrates hopefully and finally decide on Bongbong Marcos's electoral protest. Here's the report. After deferring its ruling twice, the Supreme Court, sitting as Presidential Electoral Tribunal, is once again set to decide on the fate of the election protest lodged by former Senator Bongbong Marcos against Vice President Leni Robredo. The magistrates, led by outgoing Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin, are expected to make their announcement anytime today. Amid the tension, Robredo's camp urges the PET to follow their own rules. This includes Rule 65, which allows a tribunal to dismiss the poll protest entirely if the initial grounds for protests involving 3 provinces fail to show fraud or any irregularity during the recount. The appeal from Robredo's camp comes amid rumors that the PET ruling would favor Marcos.
If you amend the rules, para bang binabago mo ang rules in the middle of the game.
The Vice President's camp also questioned Marcos' team's third cause of action.
We made it clear now to the Supreme Court, there is no such thing as third cause of action. Walang third cause of action na sinasabi nila.
Robredo's camp insisted that the protest only detailed 2 cause of actions: annulment of the Vice President's proclamation or annulment of results in recount.
In other words, magkakasama po yun sa second cause of action.
Macalintal says a third cause of action seeking the annulment of votes in Basilan, Llano del Sur, and Maguindanao were only added last minute. Marcos's camp says it has always respected the rules of the tribunal and have been playing fair since lodging the protest. And should the ruling favor Marcos, Robredo's camp says it's not yet a sure win for the vice presidential aspirant.
Any ruling that would not favor us is not yet final, because we have the right to file a motion for reconsideration.
Meanwhile, both Marcos and Robredo supporters trooped to Padre Faura for an overnight vigil ahead of the Supreme Court's electoral protest decision. Both camps are staying at separate areas of the street together with their banners showing support for their respective bets. All are hoping for an impartial conclusion or to the vice presidential rivalry that has lagged on for 3 years already. Retiring Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin attended his last flag-raising ceremony at the Supreme Court on Monday. Now, ahead of their much-awaited ruling on the vice presidential election protest, Bersamin says his life in the judiciary has been lived to the fullest. Bersamin urged the Supreme Court staff and employees to remain honest and faithful to the Constitution and the rule of law.
No regrets. This is because your steady support and willing cooperation have made my life as a member of the court and as Chief Justice much less burdensome. I have always endeavored to be true to my oath of office and have always discharged my duties and responsibilities in the best lights that God has endowed me with.
And here are the biggest stories from the dailies. While the central government is still denying the existence of a transport crisis in the country, Cebu legislators have declared a transport crisis throughout the province. The Freeman reports that this is in response to the heavy congestion of vehicles in multiple passage points connecting the cities and municipalities in Cebu. The lawmakers cite multiple causes that contribute to the traffic crisis, including flooding, minimal road education, and obstruction of roads. The government has launched its mass vaccination program for polio, which re-emerged after nearly 2 decades. Filipino Star Ngayon reports that parents lined up from sunrise carrying their sleeping infants just to get them vaccinated. The atmosphere during the event in Manila was reportedly festive, mostly everyone in high spirits, quite different from the situations in previous years when vaccination rates saw a decline due to the infectious scare. And this from the Philippine Star. Are you one of those who can't tell the difference between 1 peso and the 5 peso coin? Well, problem solved. Bangko Sentral is set to release a new 5 peso coin after repeated criticism that the current design was too similar to the 1 peso. However, the central bank has yet to release the photos of the new coin design. Suli or Choi Jinri, a popular Korean star, was found dead at her home on Monday. Authorities say the former member of FX was suffering from severe depression after being a target of cyberbullying since 2014. She left the group in 2015 to focus on her acting career. Suli was active on social media and recently hosted a TV series where celebrities discuss their experiences with online abuse. But the exact cause of her death is still under investigation. She was 25 years old. Parts of Visayas and Mindanao will experience some showers today. That's still because of the Intertropical Convergence Zone, or the ITCZ, which is the merging of the winds from the northern and southern hemispheres. Now, mostly affected by the ITZ are the regions of Davao and Caraga. Now, the rest of the country, on the other hand, will experience generally fair weather. That's because there's no other weather system affecting Luzon except for the northeasterly surface wind flow. And here are the stories to watch out for later today. Various sectoral groups led by Bantay Nakaw Coalition will once again gather in front of the Supreme Court to show their support for Vice President Leni Robredo. Supporters of Bongbong Marcos are also expected to stay in the area. Health workers are set to storm Malacanang to demand for a higher health budget and salary increase. And world champions Carlos Yulo and Nesty Pitesio are set to return to the Philippines today. And that's how today is shaping up to be. Join us again next time for another round of Rush. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.